Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Peace and blessings to everybody. This is your guy, Sean Strong, with your brother, Dakaris McLaren.
Back again.
Yes, we got two black movies. This whole thing has been about black movies. Anyway, we got two black movies we're going to talk about. We're going to tell you what they are and get into them real quick.
The Groove Pavement,
Podcast, talk show, and movie review.
where we break down the Blaxploitation era, the cinematic genre, the exploitation of the black culture and experience through film and media.
We'll also dive into the cast, the subgenres, the TV shows, and the music.
Outside of the films, we'll view some critical signs of the time and what these stories meant then and now, from entertainment to society to economics.
The Groove Pavement.
Can you dig it, sweet mama?
I can dig it.
All right, hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Sean Strong.
And I am Dakaris McLaren.
And like we said, we got two movies, The Black Angels, which came out in 1970.
1970, that's correct.
And it ain't a good movie. But anyway, and the second one is The Black Brigade.
Which is also 1970, and it's also not as bad, but not good either.
Yeah, it was actually a movie made for TV. Before we do all that, we want to make sure you guys like our YouTube page, follow us on Instagram, and like our Facebook page. Subscribe so we can get these numbers up, and make sure that when we have these next episodes, you guys are on the move with us. All right, so let's get into these movies. First movie we're going to talk about is
Black Angels.
which also had a couple other names for the movie. One was
Angels Revenge, and then you said Black Angels from Hell.
Yes.
So,
And this movie, my goodness. Folks, we've been trying to, put you on to some of these movies. So this is still the pre-Blaxploitation era. And a lot of these movies are showing the up-and-coming actors from the 70s. So these are the beginning movies. This particular movie,
yeah, there's nobody you should be wanting to pay attention to here. It really isn't.
yeah, and it's kind of weird, folks. It really has no direction. And let me tell you about this director. This guy, he didn't make a lot of movies, but this particular movie he made, his name is Lawrence Merrick, and he has a story, which was kind of weird. And he actually was killed by a student because he was also a teacher at a academic or Academy of Dramatic Arts. So he had this guy who shot him in the back in the car park of his acting school. But the other thing is too that he also did the documentary to Manson, which one of the women from that murder,
Susan Tate.
yes, she was a student of his while he was at school. So I think Manson came first. Did that movie come first? No, yes. Manson came first, and Black Angels was his actually second feature. But the shooting style of this movie was kind of like a little bit everywhere. You would think that it was an up-and-coming filmmaker at the time. It was a lot of moving camera action, So, and then there's the editing was very sticky. So it kind of didn't draw you in.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to follow. It was kind of hard to follow. Like, I was trying to figure out where the story was going.
Yeah.
And with the scenes, like, there was just random scenes that were just thrown in. And I was like, why did you put that in there? So it's very hard to follow for me.
Yeah. So you may wonder, why did we choose this movie to be in this list of Blaxploitation? Well, Dakaris is going to tell you why. Because, it supposedly dealt with black bikers.
Yeah, but the black bikers are actually props. They're actually the background to this white gang. So when you really think about it, it is Blaxploitation.
But let me say that it has something to do with the producer using
using the title Black to kind of draw people in. And you would think it was about this black biker gang, but you don't really hear much from the black biker gang. Like I said, they're props.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like that. I didn't like that at all.
Well, I didn't like the movie at all.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing too. The movie, I'll tell you how I feel about that movie later.
Well, and then you got this guy. He looks like he used to be a high school singer, and you know he was probably in the drama team, and no facial hair and stuff like that. But the way the movie starts, it starts off pretty much with some nudity, and the plot it's pretty much the first lines that he says is pretty much the plot of the movie, but it ends up going in a different direction.
He kind of puts me in the mind of Sly and the Family Stone, that type of look, you know.
Yeah, he
like
was
like a Afro-ish Jimi Hendrix type of dude. It's real corny.
He was
really.
the understudy of Leroy from Fame, except he had no braids and like 3 chest hairs. So let's play this first scene and see what Homeboy talking about. We ain't gonna play none of the nudity stuff, but we'll actually play some of the scenes. It kind of cut some of that out. You know, and also in the 70s, man, nude was the thing. They got people to watch it.
That's how you got coverage back in the day. That's how you were able to,
Market.
you know, cut the budget in half. You know, market it as kind of like a soft core, and you had that European audience right there.
How do I look?
Like a punk.
This here punk is going to become president of the choppers, baby. Right on.
Oh, wow.
Sniper's getting soft. Besides, the gang is going to be mighty impressed to hear how I take Chainer.
Chainer,
Yeah, I'm doing a number on Chainer today.
all by yourself?
Yeah, why? I've got it all planned. I'm going to flush him out of his territory and make him chase me, then trap him. Pow!
Why, Jimmy?
Because Chainer is all white, and his white is pale. Pale is sick, and I hate all sickness. That's why.
You hate, Jimmy. You hate too much.
Not enough, baby. Whitey's gonna pay plenty before we're through.
You've changed.
I'm a new shade of black, an all new breed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't talked to her not one bit. He yelled at her for the whole time on the beach,
That's why. And if
and it was Sunday.
And it was, you know, there was like a foreboding type of warning if she would have delivered it with some life.
Man,
You know, like, well, you hate too much, you know.
I don't even think we see Keisha again in the whole movie.
No, she was just,
On the beach. Look at his chest hairs.
look at how you could see every tooth in his, wow.
So yeah, that pretty much was the start of the movie. That's pretty much like the first scene. And
So you would think that this is going to be focused on a black bike club, you know, but it's not.
I thought it was going to be about him, Jimmy. But it's not. Jimmy gets into an accident because he thought he was Super Dave Osborne with that bike. And he couldn't make it.
Kills himself trying to jump over a ravine and, you know, wiped out.
Yeah, so he was chasing Homeboy, right?
Yeah, what he was trying to do was flush him out. He was trying to flee. He was trying to, you know, bait Chainer. He was trying to bait him so he can get him out and he could attack him. But he couldn't bust a grape in the fruit fight.
Yeah, he was trying
So
to
he
get some
couldn't. He
stripes.
couldn't fight, and it didn't work out. So then it turned into like a kind of riding type of contest. He wanted to show him, and he wound up, you know, dying.
And, you know, so I don't know a lot about bikers and all that stuff, but it seems like he went through a lot to try to join this group. It's kind of like a fraternity. And he did so much so when he finally got his colors or his jacket, he really embraced them. He really felt like he was part of the brotherhood. And I guess he was trying to get Homeboy to move up in rank and get, you know, they do that to try to get more respect.
But the thing is, he wouldn't have, if you know anything about bike culture, they would not have sanctioned that move. They don't like for you to go by yourself to do any of that. That was ill-advised. And so Knifer, the leader, would probably have said, no, you know, we got static with them, but we need to do that another time. So he definitely didn't talk about this with, I didn't see that he talked about this with the leader of the Choppers. That's the name of the black prop biker gang. I call them props because really they are inconsequential until after the movie or toward the end of the movie.
Right. The other things too, this is pre-Sons of Anarchy. This is like the first jump off. So it just makes you think about how where did he get this concept from, and for him to make this movie, and how they put it together. So it's really confusing how the story goes along, because you're trying to follow this bike gang, and then the Black Angels are actually
the cops that are trailing these gangs. So it's not the Black Biker Club, or the Black Bike Gang. It's the cops,
and they don't carry shields. They wear shades. They remind you of the Matrix. When you see the Matrix, you think, okay, that's where they got this guy.
Oh, man,
Come and get
want to give me a ticket? Come to court, give me a ticket. Ain't that a drag? Ain't that a drag?
Now, that's better. Chopper colors on. There ain't nothing you can't do.
God.
He was so embraced. He's happy to get his colors.
Yeah, bike-wise, that should have been a whole ceremony. They don't just hand you after you prospect. A lot of bike clubs or bike gangs, depending on the level of trust that they have for you, they'll do what. There's a period where you prospect, and so you prospect. It's kind of like getting hazed for a fraternity, and you could prospect from anywhere from 3 years. Or from 3 months to a year. A lot of like say your Hell's Angels, and that's the only bike club that I'm gonna mention for my safety.
Well,
but anyway,
you got the Mayans coming up.
Yeah, but what they do is they vet you. They vet you for a certain amount of time. So there's a whole ceremony. Once you get there, they don't just say, "Here you go, here are your colors." They don't do that.
Well, Johnny was somebody's cousin. That's how he got it. And mind you, we gonna this because of the way this movie is. This review is gonna be very brief.
I don't even like Lawrence Merrick's tone as far as it relates to the black people is something when we get to these scenes I'm gonna talk about it.
So you got this guy. He wanted to be part of a gang. He gets into the gang. Or should I call him a gang? The bike crew.
It's a gang.
Yeah. And then, he's trying to earn his keep. He wants to move up. He wants to be respected. Like he told his girl, he's just going to be the new type of Negro. And
take it to Whitey.
Yeah. But he doesn't make it through halfway through the movie. He is actually the first guy to die first black guy to die in the movie. That's how it started. This guy right here, Jimmy, started everything and ended it. Now we curse with the first guy that dies in the movie is a black guy. It's because of Jimmy killed himself trying to jump over a ravine, trying to get homeboy. Didn't make it, folks. So we're gonna go to the next one. Let's go to this other scene real quick because I really not feeling this movie.
Saw you this morning, playing follow the leader with one of the choppers.
So?
You might say Knifer's pretty uptight about it. You might even say he's been gathering a little war party to go after a little revenge.
Whatever Knifer and his choppers decide to do, don't concern me in the least.
It might concern you a little more if he decides to move in.
The choppers and us, we've been coexisting for years. A nice, peaceful coexistence. Just you leave us alone.
Just the same. Think about it.
The Black Angel, which is the cop, he has that Mr. Anderson Matrix thing going on. He's been tailing these guys, and he really is trying to the Chainer's gang is called the Satan Serpents.
Yeah.
And so they seem to be the big boys on top, right? And the Choppers are a black gang that are trying to come up, right? But a lot of these gangs are warring for territory. So it seems like seems like everybody's trying to avoid static with the police. And so that's what he's trying to do. He doesn't really like the choppers, but at the same time, he doesn't want to have that police contact. A lot of times what bike clubs will do is that they'll try to create a good relationship with the police, maybe do community service, because they know that the police are already watching them based on the fact that bike clubs and bike gangs kind of delve into illegal activity.
A lot of activities.
Yeah, so
Sexual stuff and all that.
it could be that, and then there are some legit bike clubs out there, but these guys seem like they are into alternative,
Activities.
activities. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and this movie is not Easy Rider. Easy Rider is the most known motorcycle movie or bike movie, and this is no way, shape, or form like that.
And it's not Biker Boys either. Biker Boys is a much better movie.
Yeah.
And it actually focuses on black people.
Yeah. So I guess the cop is trying to mix them up.
Yeah, pit clubs against the other. He's doing this J. Edgar Hoover thing here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No comment. We had to pause for that real quick. All right. So, and then, as it further goes along, you start to see the gangs a little bit more, and they start to bump heads, and then there's other people come into it. Like I said, I'm skimming through this because we just have to talk about the scenes because it's really, I don't know.
His tone as it relates
You
to
talking
black
about
people,
the
Lawrence,
director? Okay.
Lawrence Merrick. I look at tone a lot. I look at the authors or the director's attitude in writing, for different characters. And it seemed like the white guys were just worried about territory. You're gonna see it. There's a clip where Knifer, not Knifer, but Chainer, and those are real names, folks. It's Knifer, Chainer, and I was looking for Swiper from Dora the Explorer.
Swiper,
but
no Swiper.
they, but Chainer is really it's business is not personal for him. And he's not really upset. He could care less about the fact that it's a black gang. He's talking about preserving the territory. Yeah. But the black gang, everybody is going out of their way to talk about race. And the problem I have with that is that it makes it seem like we're paranoid and that we're going out of our way to talk about race and that we just came up with that and for no reason. It's just all in our minds.
Yeah. And the thing with the director, when you're the writer of that movie, you have your input in it for the most part. Even rather if you're hired by the production company or whatever, but you wrote this movie and you're making it, it's your input. So a lot of the stuff that was going on or how they grew up, they're implementing it into their screenplay. And using these different pieces. So like I said, you'll see a lot of things in there and you'll hear a lot of things in there that they snatch from either how they grew up or what other movies are making. And like we said, because for them to use, okay, this is going to be a blaxploitation movie and really isn't, it's to get you to watch it. And we want you to watch and see how I'm thinking. And, like I said, Easy Rider, I think was made around similar time. There's other movies that dealt with it because for him to jump from the types of movie that he make, because when you see Scorsese, he makes a certain type of film. Tarantino, they make a certain type of film. A lot of the filmmakers from the past, they may have jumped around because the production company, whether MGM or Paramount, whatever it may be, they hire you to make this particular film. Now, he's the writer, so he wrote it himself, and because of what he's done before, he's allowed to do it. So the script gets an okay. Or, he may have put up his own money, just like we see with other filmmakers later on. We're going to talk about, either they put up their own money or borrowed money, whatever it may be, and got it made.
I just kind of felt like a finger wag, like you people are just obsessed with this whole race thing. We're not really thinking about that.
Yeah, and they try to do so much to smear us any way they can, and especially towards the end of this movie, it makes you think of Birth of a Nation.
Yeah, that's my whole That's my whole issue with this. I look at tone. I look at the attitude, and it just kind of seems like, even though you're saying it's not a race thing, you're actually putting out stereotypical tropes.
And yeah, and the garbage that we had to go through just to get to those
watch
scenes. But yeah, it's just like, you know, they threw up a lot. They, you know, vomited a whole bunch of other stuff for us to, you know, see.
Went out of their way to throw some stereotypical things. It's just a hodgepodge.
Tell them why you're mad, son. Tell them why you're mad.
It's just a hodgepodge of basura. That's what that is.
It's basura, bro. Yeah, you don't like this movie, man. I don't know why you make it.
Yeah,
you don't know why you make it. So yeah, this is not a movie we recommend, and it's really not in the Blaxploitation, but it's in that era. We also showcasing some of the stuff that they put out, especially race. Race has been going on in pretty much a lot of movies from the 60s on. And like I said, we're going to get into these TV shows. And in the early 70s, a lot of race stuff was thrown out there too.
Can I quote one of the lines from here? Okay. So Big Jim gets peed on by the second in command. They call it like the bike club or the bike gang is either like a vice president or they call him the second, right? So the second is a guy named Frenchie, and I'm talking about Saint and Serpents. So he has issues with one of his own gang, and he pees on him from a tree.
Yeah,
they were like a big group of adolescent kids. That's what they were.
With beards.
And so, yeah, with beards. And he says, so Big Jim, after getting peed on, he says, "I'm going to kill you, you filthy, no good, egg-sucking, finger-licking, snot-picking, scuzzy-face runt." That's a real line from the movie.
That ain't beer, me love. It's champagne. I just blessed you, dear child, with my golden shower. This time I'm gonna kill you, Frenchie, you filthy, no good, egg-sucking, finger-licking, snot-picking, scuzzy-face runt.
Oh, and the rape scene with the white lady and the two black guys.
Yeah, they put that at the end because was they window shopping or something? Or she was window shopping.
She was baiting them, like, you know.
Kind of weird to me, where it makes you not really understand the situation, and then later on, you know, she was the tough chick, you know, and let's go to the next scene.
I just paid a little call on Chainer and his pack. They seem to be getting ready for something.
Oh, what?
Just see you play it cool. My job to head off trouble. You hear?
Listen, Charlie, we've had enough of your kind of help. 300 years of your bullshit. From now on, we take care of our own.
And it seemed like a lot of this movie was done with boom mics from very far, because they was yelling pretty much at the top how much they can yell without clipping.
Either boom mics or a McDonald's intercom. You know?
Yeah, because
you got to scream into that.
And they right in front of each other's face, and they still yelling. Same thing like in the beginning. They was like,
yeah, Jimmy is yelling at his girl
argument for no reason. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we got boom mics, and we got a guy who can turn you up when needed. But he was shouting. So, for what he said, and like how he said it,
I wouldn't have, like, how do you jump from you got a rival gang and they might be turning up against you to 300 years? How do we get there?
He don't want to deal with them, man.
How do we get there?
Yeah. This movie was made in California on a mountain where it should have never got distributed. I think
the best acting in the movie was the mountain lion, actually.
Yeah, probably. And that
there was a mountain lion in the movie.
A homegirl was pretty bad too. I mean, let's go to this last scene. This was the bar scene.
Yes.
And this movie has one of the longest bar fight sequences. I pretty think it was like 8 minutes or something like that. They was just going at it for no odd reason. Then other people started fighting.
Average fight is about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, this
That's
was
a
whole
long
sequence.
time to be fighting.
So they did a lot of stuff. They did a lot of writing. They spaced out this movie. The actual script was probably 40, 50 pages. But the movie was damn near 2 hours long. And they say one page is a minute on film. But the dialogue here was so brief and the scenes were so long. Yeah.
You ain't gonna let no camp get to you, are you?
Well, it ain't that. It's just something about it.
Yeah, but don't her kind belong with the gang you guys are watching for?
By her kind, I take it you mean black people.
Black people? Where I come from, there's only one word for them.
Hey, can't you take the white sheet off for 1 minute? Any beef we have with Niper has to do with territory, not color. You're any kind of an artist, cracker. You know that black and white go good together when you let them.
Bullshit.
See, that's his attitude.
It's the attitude.
That's the attitude right there. And you know what that kind of reminds me of, like conservatives. They'll tell you that we're not racist, but yet they'll still rock with the people that are within the group. And they don't rebuke them. So, like, you almost had us. Because black people are naturally conservative. But when you have people like Johnny Reb is posing to be, and you still put them down with your squad, you alienate a voter base that you're trying to help. That's what it just kind of, it's that tone. It's that tone that, it's really not about what you think it is. Even though this country was built on it. Somehow or another, it's not that.
Well, they have to take their hood off sometimes, like he says. But yeah, I mean, he threw that line in there that caught our attention. It was said throughout the movie. And the weird thing, it was at the end of the movie. This was the last act, pretty much the last couple of sequences.
They draw that out.
Yeah, so it's, for the way that the movie was put together and where it was put together, it was weird. So the movie really holds no weight. The rating is like 1 out of 100. It's like 1 star. The direction, he made a film. Yeah, I guess he made a film.
Yeah, he did.
And the thing was, he was he taught at he had his own dramatic school, dramatic arts. And he's probably one of those who don't worry about the rules. Just make what you want to make. And that's exactly what it looked like. So, yeah, that was Black Angels or The Black Angels from Hell or
Black Angels Revenge.
Yeah.
This movie, man, this is like drinking a steaming hot mug of dumpster juice with a lemon twist. That's what this was.
It's private stock that was like 40 years old.
Yeah, this is warm old English 40 ounce right here. This is if you like car accidents, if you're one of those people that rubberneck and jam up traffic, then you'll like this movie. But if you watch this movie without some antacids on hand, you're taking a risk.
Yeah, this is the CBS feature that come on at midnight.
Yeah, this is
12:08 exactly.
This is Netflix and ill. This is not Netflix and chill at all right here. This is
you can find
terrible.
this on YouTube, or you cannot. Either or, it's your choice.
You can watch the trailer on YouTube and be done with it.
All right, so we're gonna move on to this next movie, Carter's Army. And then we're just going to talk about a little bit more about this movie. All right, we're back with the second half of this episode, episode 5, pre-Blaxploitation. I'm your guy, Sean Strong.
And I am Dakaris McLaren.
And this next movie has a couple of names too, right?
Yeah, Carter's Army and
AKA
Black Brigade.
Black Brigade. I wonder why they call it that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess, given the time it took to actually give the title of the movie.
Hey, this is giving Black Brigade. But this movie is actually a movie made for TV.
Yes.
It wasn't really a feature. And is written or co-written by Aaron Spelling, which most of us know from TV shows. He wrote a lot of movies or executive produced or produced a lot of TV shows.
90210 specifically.
Charlie's Angels.
Dynasty.
And a lot more, folks. So you got like 230 something credits just on producing. This movie though is pretty good. It was pretty much like the movies I think of is the Dirty Dozen. This was pretty much the half dozen because it took half of the people that the Dirty Dozen did, and it kind of had some similarities of the type of brigade that it was, because the Dirty Dozen, they was using convicts to carry out this certain platoon to do a certain thing. And this one, these guys,
they're the black soldiers during World War II, and that's the
cleanup crew.
That's the backdrop. Is set in Germany in 1944. I'll deal with the historicity of that a little bit later on.
Ding. There's a bell.
But really, it really delves into how the black soldiers of that time were treated, and they weren't always trusted. First of all, the army was segregated, and then they were given probably the worst details, digging latrines and things like that. So it wasn't.
Yeah, that's what they do.
They didn't get the respect. And what's groundbreaking about this is that out of you're talking about a 50-year period where black people were written out of the World War II narrative. Mm-hmm. So conspicuously they are extracted from the World War II era in history books and movies. I mean, is there a black person in Saving Private Ryan?
Well, if you want to say, what's homeboy's name? Vin Diesel. If you want to,
he's
claim that in there.
Yeah, he's ambiguously Negroid, so I don't know.
His first movie, but I don't really remember any.
But they don't really blacks in World War II, which had a significant role in changing the tide of World War II, were really not mentioned. And I mean, this movie is 1970. It took that long to really. There were World War II movies before, but this one actually takes on blacks in World War II, and there was about 1 million of them that enlisted or were drafted, and
they had to do special projects or special. These platoons were doing certain things. And like I said, it reminded me of the Dirty Dozen, where they have, in Dirty Dozen, they had to blow up a bridge, I believe. In this movie, they had to prevent a bridge from being blown up.
Yeah, they had to secure the dam. They had to secure a hydro dam for the Allied forces. And if the Germans got wind that they were on the way, they would have blown up the dam. Hence, it would have prevented the Allied forces from advancing. The only problem with that, it's in 1944 in the summer, and the Allied forces are in a totally different country. They're not in Germany. They would have been in Normandy, France.
They did that for TV purposes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. So let's get into the cast of this TV movie, this movie.
All right, so there's a lot of Blaxploitation heavy hitters.
Yeah, this is their up and coming. This is their first action movie.
So you got Richard Pryor, who plays Jonathan Crunk. You got Glenn Turman.
Yeah,
you're gonna see a lot of him.
And he actually was in another Army movie afterwards.
Yeah,
a couple of them.
And you're gonna see Billy D. Williams.
Oh yeah, Billy D.
Mr. Colt 45.
Just don't let the smooth taste fool you.
Moses Gunn, who was in the Shaft franchise, that like he was pretty good. Rosie Greer, which goes with that trend of having athletes being in movies. Yep. So he was, Rosie Greer had done a lot of work on the TV side. He also did a movie called A Man with Two Heads, which I can't wait to do.
Yeah. We speaking on that. He was also in Turner. Was he in?
No, he wasn't in Truck Turner.
Oh, okay, my bad. Wrong movie. Wrong guy. The wrong black guy. And then also we have the guy who played Carter. He was in a previous movie.
Oh
that we
yeah,
talked about.
Robert Hooks, who played Trouble Man.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the sergeant dude. He was
Sergeant Captain Carter
Yeah.
is actually Stephen Boyd, which if you've been tuning in, he was actually McKay, the slave master in the movie Slaves.
Yeah, you could tell by his butt chin. He's talking twice. So,
He's actually a big time actor. He was in Ben-Hur, so he was a legend in his own right.
the baby Charles Heston.
But he plays the racist pretty good. So
Yeah, so this is this movie he throws those voices and those words out there too. So let's get into this first clip and see what the dirty half dozen is doing.
There's a dam on the outgoing lake right here. Our main force is more than 50 miles away here. If the Jerry's know we're coming, they'll blow it up. And if they do, they'll stall our advance for at least 2 days and flood the valley. What we want to do is surprise them from the south. Now, the nearest unit is B Company, 3rd Regiment.
So send them in.
Carter, I'm afraid you missed the point. We've got 2 days to save the dam. This mission
Hiney on
requires the
his face.
experience of a commando. And you were
baby
available. You'll be flown to B Company and dropped. Oh, the code name is London Bridge.
You cannot not look
From
at
there
it.
on, you're on your own. You'll be behind German lines the minute you step out of camp.
You need a
28
diaper on
miles
his
down
face.
this road is a farmhouse
wear
with a
masks
friendly
and a
contact
diaper.
and a radio. You'll spend the night there. 12 more miles down the road is an abandoned winery
shaved that
that will
part.
be your base of
Go over it
operation for the
twice.
actual assault. I'll see that you get a promotion. Wouldn't it be nice to wake up in a few days, a major?
See what he hit him with in order for him to do it.
and that the horns and the
Yep.
music cues in there.
You can tell when the commercial comes up when they play the music, and then it get those long fades.
Actually, it's funny you said that. It is a made-for-TV movie.
Yes, it was.
And it went from made-for-TV to the bottom of the bin, the DVD bin in Walmart, which is where I found Black Brigade.
You probably can catch it on public access.
But that's not a reflection of the movie. I think that the movie deals with some important topics. So
yeah. So how he gets put to this job, he's actually, his, what was that, the colonel? Whatever it may be?
yeah, Colonel gives him his orders.
Yeah, and, he kind of looks at it like, what kind of a job is this? And then, he hits him with, after you do it, you're going to move up in rank. You just got to figure out how else you're going to do it. So it starts off with this guy. This is the push of it. So they, now he's getting these directions to do stuff, and then it's going to go into.
Yeah, obviously, he does not know that the company B that he's going to be in charge of is black. He doesn't know any of that, and that's how they do in the military. They give you stuff on a need-to-know basis. That's the information that they give you, and
yeah, and then when you're in it, we'll give you the rest. Because there ain't nothing else you can do anyway. You got to move forward somewhere.
you got to follow orders.
B Company is to proceed to the Aufgang Dam, 5 kilometers north of the town of Ulster, and secure said dam until the arrival of Allied forces.
Is anyone guarding this your dam?
Yep.
Are we going to have any help?
No. We can't make radio contact for another hour. Get some rest.
Captain Carter, sir? How are we going to do it?
I don't know, soldier.
Now he got his orders. Now he got his platoon, and they got to figure it out. What they got to do and how they going to do it.
Oh, well, one of the things, if we were to put, a historical perspective on it, now that he knows that he has black troops, he has an opinion about these particular black troops. A lot of the bigotry and hate was actually it was portable during this time, because a lot of the military boys came from the South. And so they brought a lot of their biases overseas. And so he doesn't really have a lot of respect based on how they look and what he's seen. But he's discredited them in his mind. And that's due to the time period that it's based on. The World War II, the army was segregated. So blacks were in separate companies, and a lot of times they would be put, in the worst locations. And so Company B is digging latrines. That's what they're doing.
He said their racism was portable in a fanny pack.
Yeah.
It was camouflage.
They brought it on there. It was portable.
So, and then when they choose which half dozen they get, then you can start to hear and see that racism come out.
Those attitudes come out.
That was actually before. That was before this, right? So
no, that was before. That this scene that just played, that was after
he picked his. So let's jump on. Yeah. So up to this point, so he was told by his colonel a particular job that he has to do. Then those orders, he got to pick his half dozen, and then he doesn't really tell them because Glenn Turman, character, asks him, what are we gonna do and how are we gonna do it? So he tells them, you got to figure out. So let's go back a little bit on.
So he meets the group of guys that they're supposed to secure this dam, right? And like I said, he has a specific opinion about these particular gentlemen. And Robert Hooks' character is Lieutenant Wallace. Lieutenant Wallace has been in charge of these guys, and Lieutenant Wallace is trying to tell him, like, you need to have a little more respect for these gentlemen because of what they do.
And they've been there. They've been there for a couple of years in this spot. So it's just like
3 years, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Sit down, Wallace. It's a circus. There ain't one man out there with a uniform. Only half of them is guns. The other half is a goatee. They won't even stand up straight. Oh, in mother's memory am I supposed to get those men 40 miles into enemy territory?
They can do it.
How do you figure? They aren't even soldiers.
They are soldiers, Captain. Bona fide members of the armed forces of the United States.
A soldier fights.
A soldier does what he is ordered to do. Every one of those men volunteered to fight, to die for his country. They've been here 3 years, Captain. 3 years waiting to face a gun. You know where their orders have been, huh? This is a service company, Carter. Sanitation detail, mess detail, burial detail. Did you ever wonder what happened to those trenches once you leave, huh? Those stinking trenches that you can't stand to go near because they make you vomit? B Company fills them up with lye and mud and then goes someplace else to dig another. Don't tell me they're not soldiers because they don't fight.
Take a look. Come on, take a look. Tell me again they're soldiers.
They are.
They're black men doing what they know how to do. The Army just gave them a job doing it.
Well then, Mr. Carter, you and that dam are in pretty big trouble.
I need 7 men. You and 6 volunteers.
You want me to choose 6 of my men so as you can get them killed?
I want 6 volunteers. You want to ask them? Or shall I?
I'll ask. But just for the record, I hope the first bullet hits you right between your big blue eyes.
So yeah, he undermined the men, but he also was gonna know he's gonna need them, and also you'll definitely see an arc, a change in Colonel Carter later on. You know how he's feeling, but you see his ways throughout the film, which is pretty interesting. You know,
and his attitude is not in a vacuum. Captain Carter's I guess, pejorative stance on the black culture, the black troops, is something that was held throughout the military. Again, it was segregated, and even toward the end, I'll get into a little bit of the historical facts a little bit later on. But like I said, his attitude was pretty much commonplace.
So, with that cast, yeah, I think a lot of people, well, I guess because how we know Richard, we wanted to see Richard be the Richard that we think we know. But mind you, this is like you said, it was his third film, right?
No, fourth film.
Fourth film. And then you also have, it's a good cast. And I guess for TV, I don't know what the ratings were at the time. That's maybe something we should research. But it does have a nice cast, with Billy D and Richard Pryor. But Richard Pryor, his character is very weak.
Yeah. And Richard Pryor, for those that don't know, he was a military man himself
in real life.
So, and this wasn't his first role. He had a movie called The Busybody in 1967, and he was playing a lieutenant then. So it's not his first rodeo.
Crunk.
Jonathan Crunk, Private Jonathan Crunk.
Yeah. So yeah, what's the next scene? So after he picks his half dozen, so
what they have to do is part of the mission is they have to meet at a farmhouse that's like halfway.
Yep.
And then there's like an abandoned wine cellar that they have to go to as well, that it's like a rallying point. But they meet at this farmhouse first, and they don't even know their orders yet until they get halfway there, like you said.
Was the lady German?
The lady was German.
Yeah, and what's his name? Lawrence. He teaches physics at HBCU, right?
Well, one of the I think his name is Moses Gunn's character.
Yeah, so it's not Lawrence.
Yeah, Doc Hayes. He teaches physics, and Captain, not Captain, but Carter. Carter is kind of amused that he teaches physics
because he's a cook.
Yeah, he's a cook in the Army, but he's actually a physics teacher.
Yeah, so because they kind of look down upon us as if we can't learn anything. So here's this guy who's a university teacher, but enlisted in the Army, and he's a cook. And his demeanor I like his demeanor in the movie. He's doing his job, doesn't have an attitude. He wants to get it done.
Is that cook thing familiar? Has that been done in any other movies?
Probably so. The fact that he was a teacher reminds me of Saving Private Ryan, because Tom Hanks' character, he's leading his platoon, and he was a teacher. So the fact that they had to, and also, it's a couple of movies that this remind me of, but these movies are later, like the Spike Lee movie that he did, Saint something. They had the big guy in there, so we see Rosie Greer, who plays Big Jim, but he dies in this movie, and that was Richard's boy. So they were real close, and their chemistry in this movie was real cool too. So that's what I brought this up before about wanting to see the behind the scenes and the making of, just to see their activity the way they were. Because there was one scene where they funning around where he was acting like he was the captain.
Now, soldier, shine up those boots till knock your eyes out. Spit over. Oil up that rifle.
And burn that uniform. Smells like gasoline.
Yeah, boss.
So that right there, that interaction was written.
I would have liked to have seen some outtakes with Richard Pryor.
Yeah, because he said some things, man. Him being a comedian.
You don't want to rest like the others?
The others don't know what I know.
What do you know?
That we'll all be dead tomorrow.
Why do you say that?
Because he's right. It is a company of clowns. Never even got through basic training. Never even fired at anything except 10 cans. And they're supposed to capture a heavily guarded dam? Suicide.
No, I don't think so. I watched my brother put on an uniform and march off to the war. Then he got to the bar and he turned around and he waved, but there was no smile. And I had no smile either. But I watched him go. You know why? Because I knew he was going to die.
How? I mean, how did you know it?
Because he was fighting for the wrong side. And so, I look at you now, and I can tell.
Then tell me.
You can smile when you wave goodbye.
Earlier today, I watched a man die. He was on the right side.
I don't know about him. I just know about you.
No, you don't know about me, and you don't know about my men. I wish to God I could believe that righteousness could save our lives, but...
Do you doubt your men, Lieutenant? Or yourself?
I don't know. There was a time when I knew, but...
You know, I think that you're a strong man. But that you let something make you doubt yourself. But if you believe it, then you will be dead tomorrow.
Do you believe that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Get away from her, Wallace. What do you think you're doing? Don't ever let me see you touch a white woman or so help.
Kirkpatrick.
You are in my house, Captain. Even if there's a war on outside, you are a guest in
Slap
here.
that ass on your chin.
You're incredible, Carter. The lives of 7 men are on the line, and you spend your time protecting the virtue of white women who get too close to black men. I feel sorry for you, man.
There's that portable racism there.
Fanny pack.
They
Camouflage.
They packed that up and said, listen, we don't want you touching white girls over in America or in Germany. So,
Even if Hitler's coming.
yeah, I don't care if we're fighting for the fate of the free world.
Man.
Keep your hands, black man, off these white girls. That trope is persistent.
Even if you're in uniform.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a lot, man. So, for them to put that in there, this is for TV, folks. This was made for TV. And I think she was attracted to homeboy because, you know, his afro was nice. He had some sheen. It wasn't Soul Glow because that wasn't out yet. But she was that type, and he just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah,
a little bit more, and...
You could see the admiration there.
Yeah.
And,
that's what you
know,
call it.
Captain Carter
was hating.
He didn't have any part of that.
Yeah.
He actually had to get set straight afterwards, not only with the slap, but also, you know, Lieutenant Wallace is going to give him a piece of his mind, too, outside. So he had to kind of get himself together.
Slapped him on the ass on his face. And she, you know, they always have to have an attractive woman out in a shack somewhere in the middle of, you know, the halfway point for some reason. And she's by herself. But yeah, and she's, you know, because later on, the Germans come.
They come to her house. She is German.
Yeah, so she has like the first Airbnb, and homeboy checked out the room with her real quick. And the other party, and while the platoon, Company B, was in the back, and some stuff going on with them because they wanted to jet, or Richard wanted to jet.
Oh, they all wanted to leave.
Yes. Yeah, why stay there with him? Because homeboy is like, you know, he's coming out of the woodworks and try to kill us going on this mission. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. It just makes me think of The Dirty Dozen. It's the same type of thing, you know, and Dirty Dozen came out like a year or two before this movie. So yeah, this is what's his name? Lieutenant Lawrence hit him with some words, and the funny thing is that Carter now he injustices it because you can see
he's starting to change.
Yeah, because even when they go out, like you said, they go outside. He hit him with some more, so he has to get to the point where listen, we're actually fighting this war. I need you guys.
Yeah, we're on the same side.
Yeah, because Homeboy is telling him, he's like, there may be a bullet come for you, and one of us can save you, and we can be like, oh, I ain't see nothing.
But see, you have to with that type of animus that he comes over with. Again, this is all portable here. Your racism is portable. So they brought it over there with him, and he had to kind of give him that reality check that just because you have this opinion of these black troops, they're the ones that are going to have your back.
Yeah.
You have no other choice but to trust who you've been given to be in charge of.
That's crazy. Yeah, and they got a lot of stuff in their fanny pack, man.
See,
for no reason.
That we can't you can't just kiss a white woman on the cheek.
Not like that.
And not have someone look sideways at you. This is it's still persistent, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it happened before, folks, and it happened again. All right, so let's move forward into some more of this action. This action, I guess this movie was a pretty good movie, but some stuff in there.
So pretty much Richard Pryor is, he's having second thoughts, to say the least.
He don't like it there.
About being there. And he's starting to, how your mind can play tricks on you? And he's starting to see things. And he starts to shoot in the trees. He's pretty much cracking up, right?
Yeah.
He's cracking up. And Rosie Greer's character, which is Big Jim, he and Richard Pryor are best friends. He and Private Crunk are best friends in this movie. And Big Jim has some deep words to say to Richard Pryor that I thought was, very significant, specifically for that time. They're very timely words.
Yeah, he brought him out of the hole that he buried himself in. He balled up. He told him to just ball up.
He's sitting there shaking and crying, and Captain Carter is ready to off him, basically.
You got 2 minutes.
Shoot, God, shoot.
There ain't nobody there, buddy.
What?
Just us chickens.
It don't make no difference. It's gonna shoot me and I can't move.
Man, ain't nobody gonna hurt you.
I'm scared, Big Jim.
Yeah, I know. I'm scared too.
Not like me, Big Jim. I can't even walk.
Sure you can. Just get up out of there.
I can't.
Anybody can be scared. It's what you do when you're scared makes you something or nothing.
Always been a nothing.
Maybe. Now you got a choice. All right. I'll leave you. And I'll tell Carter to come back with his pistol. And he can tell all his white friends, man, I knew them niggas couldn't cut the mustard. They just curl up in a hole and let me shoot them in the head. And 100 years from now, black men will be cleaning latrines just like you and me. So long, buddy.
Pryor not feeling the woods. He was like, yo, what's that up there ahead? Some trees. Yeah, he didn't like the trees.
Before that, Big Jim had actually said, he was like, I don't want to die, Big Jim. He said, that's simple. He said, just curl up inside yourself and die. But you have to take into context what those guys, the point that they were trying to prove, those million+ black soldiers that went over, what they were trying to prove. They were actually fighting for freedom, a freedom that they didn't have over in this country. those black soldiers are going to leave there, World War II, and they're going to come home and they're going to demand that we be treated as equal citizens. They're going to demand that. And they are going to be integral in the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
Their role, their stance, and particularly after they get home, especially the indignities that they're going to suffer when they get home. Remember, black vets were getting lynched in their uniform.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they would take their stripes off of them. So they weren't, here they were heroes, but there was no hero welcome for them. And so Rosie Greer, his Big Jim, is telling him, like, listen, if you do this now, imagine what they're going to be saying about us 100 years from now.
You deserve the title. That's what he was saying. And he got him up out of there. He made him, realize that, you're not really a coward. You're just stuck in a situation that was brought up on you.
And everybody's scared. I think that was shocking, too, because Big Jim was this stoic type of character. And here he was saying that I'm scared, too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. The jungle. All right. So that clip right there is pretty much the end. So, yeah, they got to a point where, I don't want to call it an arc, but the change with Richard Pryor, you see him as a coward, but at the end, he kind of saves the situation by doing what he did. He made some moves.
He's one of the 3 survivors. I guess that's a spoiler alert. That out of all those guys, Lieutenant Wallace, Captain Carter, and Private Crunk are the ones that remain.
But Crunk, he set it off. For them to get, they had to get to the bridge and had to get the detonator.
Yeah.
And he hid in the back of a truck of a farmer. So, I guess Carter looked down upon him, especially at that point, as he's nothing. He's not going to be able to do anything for us. He's worthless, just like I always thought. And comes to the point, he changed his mind because, Big Jim told him about choices. So it's your choices in certain situation that makes you more than what you think you are, and what you move to it. So that motivated him. He's got to get out of there. So he makes the decision because it looks like he was going to actually run.
Yeah, run off.
But he actually didn't. And you know what? Let me get in the back of this joint. Let me get this detonator. I'm about to set it off. And he does.
What do you think about Glenn Turman's character?
Yeah, he was kind of
interesting.
Yes, what he was doing, he was writing about the platoon, but he was doing the remixes. He wasn't really telling the truth. Like, they just want to get these different medals and stuff. But I guess it was his thing that makes him feel good. In a sense.
Yeah, it's really it was like an aspirational type of writing. He didn't get there. I got from his character that he didn't sign up to dig ditches. He actually wanted to prove that he could fight alongside in white soldiers and be just as good.
But he wasn't telling the truth.
Yeah, he wasn't telling the truth. But look what wound up happening.
Yeah, but the way he was writing it and sending stuff home, like they was doing all these things, but it wasn't. So
he was embellishing. To say the least.
That probably could have been the best-selling novel of his point of view, but I just like the different characters that each of them played, and they played them well.
I could kind of excuse his prevarication. I really could.
There's a bell. So we got to talk about that in the next episode to set that up. I knew there was something else that I was going to forget about, but which was the bell setup. So we're going to get into this last bit of after they actually save the dam from being blown up by the Germans. A couple of them get shot, and then the other cavalry comes through, and this is the U.S.
Yes,
coming through, and they had some words for Company B.
Hey, Boy, what you standing there for? Hey, boys, you better get some latrines, Doug.
That says a lot. You know, it's as if they're not even on the same team.
And that actually alludes to what those black soldiers are going to have to face when they get back home. It's a very much a uphill battle. That seems very personal for me. I'm the great nephew of a Tuskegee Airman, and so I have a family that's steeped in military service. I am the child of a Vietnam vet, and his reception when he got home wasn't any sweeter either. But I think what we need to take away from this, we need to start putting some respect
on the name,
on black military service name. We really do. As I said earlier, 50 years they were written out of the history books. Takes 1970 movie for them to even broach the subject of blacks being in there, but there were close to or a little over 1 million black people that enlisted. And at that time, everything was very much segregated. They even segregated the blood. They did not want blood from black soldiers during transfusions to be given to white soldiers. You know what's ironic about that is Dr. Drew, Charles Drew, is the one that was able to create the innovation of plasma being separated from blood. And also, he had his knowledge provided the innovation of how blood can be stored. So while they are, kind of dumping on the black man, it's the black man's innovation is the reason why they have the blood in the condition that they would have it in. All right. Man. So also, we oftentimes think of the Tuskegee Airmen as the only ones that serve, but what's significant about the Tuskegee Airmen during World War II is that they never lost a bomber. No. Bombers had to be escorted back then. And just because they never lost a bomber doesn't mean that no Tuskegee Airmen died. My great uncle was fortunate enough to come back from being a Tuskegee Airman. So there's so much to unpack here. Even how the Italian and German POWs were treated versus the black soldiers. There's been several accounts of black soldiers talking about how the POWs could go to the post exchange, the store, and they could eat in certain parts of the cafeteria that a lot of the black soldiers were. So you have a group of soldiers, being the black ones during World War II, that were marginalized, disrespected, and underserved, and yet they give a valiant service to a more you can't think of a more undeserving country of their service. So it's time to put some respect on the black soldier's name. It really is. There is not a war that this country has been involved in that black people have not played a pivotal role. Not one.
Yeah, well, they undermined us then, and they still do. And then entertainment were used as exploitation, and make money off.
And even that there's a road from like Burma, India, to the inland of China, which was considered impassable. This was a road that was constructed mainly by black engineers during World War II. It's called Lido Road from Burma. 65% of the people that worked on that road were black engineers. So you do not have, in my opinion, it was a group effort, but, you cannot discount or no longer discount the black role in World War II. And to come home, they are also pivotal in fighting for civil rights. So remember, it was Deacons for Defense. Those were World War II vets that come home and they take up arms in Jonesville, Louisiana, because they got tired of Klan harassment. This is after they served. Matter of fact, the year was 1964. 1964 is the year that that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is passed. So, like I said this a few episodes back, that if it wasn't for that armed contingent, we're not talking about civil rights at this point. So these guys that come back, they were ready to be freed. You know, and the fact that they were able to fight for freedom and not enjoy freedom on their home territory was unacceptable to them.
Man, yeah, it's like before you even go to the war, you're not considered an American.
Yeah.
You go into the war, you're not considered a soldier. You come home, you're still not considered an American or a soldier. So, yeah, it would just exploit all the way across the board. So that's some stuff. You know, we do need to know our history, and those that do know and try to remind others, they will just like to omit it like they have been. And the fact that this is actually written in the script, some of the things, but, you know, are they thinking of these things, or are they just using it because it's a part of the screenplay that moves the story forward and to have some type of historical connection? So,
and for those that are wondering, you know, because I've heard black and white people say, why do we need Black History Month, which is just passed? This is why. Because there has been a concerted and conspicuous effort to eliminate black people from the American, and you cannot tell the American history story without us. But they have managed to do so, and they are still trying to do that as we speak. They are trying to extract the black story from educational curricula throughout the country. So again, if you're wondering why we needed Black history, this is why.
Yeah, and this is actually Black history too. We're still going. You know, it's definitely not a monthly thing or a 1 month thing.
It's 12 months a year.
Yeah, so
especially if you tune into the Groove Payment.
Yeah, and that's why and there's another reason why we brought this up. You know, the movies, the Blaxploitation era is of the 70s, but it has some stuff in it, like we're showing you guys, and we're in the, you know, pre-Blaxploitation. So in the 70s, we're gonna hear and see a lot more. So yeah, these were two interesting movies, to say the least, with black in the title.
Yeah.
The Black Angels was the first one, which was action drama, or whatever you want to call it.
It was more of a biker
action,
action, you know, with Blaxploitation marketing.
Yeah.
That's really what it was.
And Carter's Army, the Black Brigade, was a war type action drama with a good cast, a good screenplay, written partially by Aaron Spelling. It was made for TV. So these are the movies we brought to you guys. So we hope you guys got some insight from this. I'm definitely not co-signing the first movie, but you can definitely go check it out on YouTube. YouTube is your library and your video blockbuster.
And if you do watch it, tell us in the comment section how you enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear that.
Yeah, and the cast of the second movie, the Carter's Army. What do you think about their roles in this movie? So, you know, a lot of us know Richard Pryor or Thurman and Rosie Greer, if you know football and stuff like that, and Billy D. Williams. How'd you like them in this particular role? I myself, Billy D., you know, he was always calm and cool, whatever he plays. Richard Pryor, you know, he's Richard Pryor. So, you know, I kind of like the second movie. It reminded me of The Dirty Dozen. This was the Dirty Half Dozen.
It's for a first effort at this type of content, I think it's respectable. And definitely compared to the first movie. Just, you know, it's a masterpiece compared to that. But, you know.
So, and you got the cards hitting you with the history of all the stuff that's going on around it. So definitely let us know what's going on in the comments. Let us know on Facebook, Instagram, all the other stuff. And please like us on Instagram, Facebook, and go to and check out our YouTube page and our website. Let us know what's going on. That's it for this episode 5. I am Sean Strong.
And I am DeCaris McLaren.
And this is The Groove Pavement. See y'all real soon.
Right on.
The Groove Pavement. Podcast, talk show, and movie review.
Where we break down the Blaxploitation era, the cinematic genre, the exploitation of the black culture and experience through film and media.
We'll also dive into the cast, the subgenres, the TV shows, and the music.
Outside of the films, we'll view some critical signs of the time and what these stories meant then and now, from entertainment to society to economics.
The Groove Pavement.
Can you dig it, sweet mama?
I can dig it.